Okay, so with Jalen Hurts' concussion, the Eagles obviously have a huge question mark at the quarterback position as they're preparing for an extremely crucial matchup with the Cowboys. However, a recent development seems to hint that Hurts could actually have a chance to suit up on Sunday, so what's all the latest on that situation? Meanwhile, an opportunity may have just came available for the Eagles to make an unexpected move and acquire a former star pass rusher, but how likely is that to actually happen? Plus, Jordan Mailata called out the Eagles offense for their struggles in one key area, while multiple guys previewed the matchup with the Cowboys. So we're going to talk about that and all the other latest Eagles news starting right now. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Philly Fan 21 channel. If you're new, I'm Evan, and I cover all things Philadelphia Eagles. And with the Birds vs. Boys rivalry matchup just days away, we got a ton of news to get into as Philly prepares for what's going to be an extremely crucial game. But first, I do want to wish you guys a late Merry Christmas, and I hope you all had a blessed day celebrating with friends and family. And now we all get a pretty nice gift as Eagles fans, as it's officially Kelly Green Week, as the Birds will wear their classic throwbacks for the second and final time this season. And as I alluded to earlier, they'll be wearing these in a super important game, as a win gives the Birds the NFC East division title and the 2 seed in the NFC, but a loss likely puts them in a must-win situation in Week 18 versus the Giants, where, depending on what happens this week, a loss could end up dropping them down to a wildcard team. So again, this is a super important game, and they're going to be taking on a Cowboys team that does look better than they did back in Week 10 when the Birds played them for the first time. I mean, back then, the Cowboys were really struggling mightily on both sides of the ball, and after a slow start in that game, the Eagles pretty much just steamrolled them on their way to a blowout victory in Dallas. But this time around, it may be just a bit tougher, as the Cowboys have been playing a lot better recently, being winners of 4 of their last 5, including beating the Tampa Bay Bucks last week, who were looking strong coming into that game. So when you combine that with the fact that this is Eagles versus Cowboys, aka the greatest rivalry in all of sports, you know that this has the potential to be a somewhat tough game, and it's definitely not one the Eagles can take lightly. I mean, let's start on defense, where although the improvement hasn't been super drastic, they are clearly starting to find their footing a bit in Mike Zimmer's system and play better than they were earlier in the year. And Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen seems to agree with that, as he said this about the Cowboys defense ahead of the matchup.
I think they've done a really excellent job. I think obviously they've done a good job up front, pressuring the quarterback, getting after him. Back end's done a nice job of playing some sound football. Obviously, their pressure plan has gone up as they've kind of found some consistency in their roster. Obviously, they've dealt with a lot of moving pieces throughout the year, which is obviously a challenge for anyone. And you can definitely sense that they've started to build more and more cohesiveness every single week, and they're playing really, really good football right now.
Yeah, I mean, like Moore said, they've definitely just continued to build some cohesiveness and improve overall as a unit over these past 5 weeks. And then they also, of course, have some really talented players and playmakers on that side of the ball, and obviously the best of those guys is edge rusher Micah Parsons. And in these past 5 games where the Cowboys have played better, he's also elevated his play as well, as he has 6.5 of his 9.5 sacks on the season in that span. So it's certainly going to be hard to slow him down, but the Eagles just got to be prepared the best that they can. And both star tackles Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson know that they're in for a really tough challenge with Micah this week.
How's Micah look?
Micah looks healthy. Yeah, man. Looking like he's back to his old self again, wrecking games. So gonna have to have a good plan against him this week.
Micah's so quick and fast. He does a good job of really getting upfield, getting guys turned, and making inside moves. So he's like TJ, one of the best out there.
It's definitely a great thing that the Eagles got 2 of the best tackles in the entire NFL to help combat a talent like Micah on the edge, so hopefully they can hold up and limit his impact in this game. And overall, obviously, hopefully the Eagles' just offense in general is able to counter whatever the Cowboys defense throws at them in this game, and Jordan Mailata seems to have a pretty decent idea of what they may try and do.
What do I expect from Dallas defense? Probably stop the run, and depending who we have under center this week, probably something in the coverage disguises too, so keep it that way.
Now that's obviously a pretty basic answer from Mailata there, because every defense is going to want to do those things, but I only bring it up because I actually think that one of the biggest keys to winning this game for the Eagles, especially with the uncertainty at quarterback, which we'll get into later, is going to be whether they can run the football successfully or not. As obviously last week, after that first quarter with Jalen Hurts out, the Birds' rushing attack took a huge hit, and Saquon Barkley really wasn't able to get much of anything going in that period, but the struggles can't just be blamed on Hurts being out, as the guys simply just didn't execute well enough in the run game through those final 3 quarters. And that's something that Jordan Mailata actually called out the offense for ahead of their matchup with the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think as a unit we're sloppy. Kind of to echo what Coach said after the game. I think just from an execution standpoint, we fell way below par, and it just wasn't good. Just wasn't good football that we were playing. So
It's no secret that the Eagles offense just simply was not good enough when it comes to running the ball last week, and as much as yes, obviously the quarterback that's in there, whether it's Jalen Hurts or Kenny Pickett, makes a huge difference when it comes to the run game, the guys still just need to execute better than they did last week outside of the first quarter, plain and simple. And the good news is that yes, even though they have improved in recent weeks, the Cowboys defense is still ranked 27th in the league against the run. So this game is going to be a golden opportunity for Saquon Barkley and the Eagles rushing attack to bounce back. Although again, a lot of that does depend on which QB is going to be in there, which again, we'll get to later. But now moving on to the Cowboys offense, they, like the defense, have caught a bit of a rhythm too in these past 5 games, as Cooper Rush and those guys have been playing some good football recently, and they're averaging around 27 points per game in the last 5 contests. So they're going to be another good challenge for this Eagles defense, and defensive coordinator Vic Fangio seems to know that very well.
Yeah, they're playing extremely well here the last 5 games. They're moving the ball. I think they have found their niche with Rush at quarterback, and they're doing a good job. You know, they're running it well. They're mixing in the play pass and the boots very well. And obviously CeeDee Lamb is having a banner year. They have good tight end in Ferguson. The back has really come alive lately. So, you know, they're not the same offense that we saw however many weeks ago that was.
Again, Fangio's definitely right in saying that this isn't the same Cowboys offense we saw the last time these two teams faced off, so the Eagles defense is going to have to be prepared for a bigger challenge, and like the run game on offense, the defense is definitely an area where the Eagles are hoping for a bounce back this week as well, so hopefully we get to see that when these two rivals meet on Sunday. And obviously, the biggest storyline heading into the matchup is the situation at quarterback for the Eagles, and we just got some updates on that, including possibly a notable update on Jalen Hurts and his status, so don't worry, we're going to get into that in just a minute, but real quick, I do want to say, if you are enjoying this video and you don't want to miss any other Eagles coverage or content just like this coming throughout the rest of this entire season, then make sure you subscribe, and also really importantly, turn on notifications so you're notified instantly when one of these videos is uploaded. Trust me, you guys are not going to want to miss any of the Eagles coverage or content I got coming on this channel. I cover the Birds pretty much daily here, so if you want to stay up to date on all the latest Eagles news, this is the spot. So again, subscribe and turn on notifications, and also drop a like. Let's see if we can get to 600 likes on today's video. And now, with all that being said, let's get back into the video. So as I was saying, the biggest storyline heading into the Birds game this Sunday is the situation at quarterback, as Jalen Hurts is of course still in concussion protocol after taking what I think was an illegal hit by Commanders linebacker Frankie Louvu early in that game. So his status for Sunday is obviously very much in question. And then add on top of that the fact that backup quarterback Kenny Pickett is also dealing with a rib injury, and that leaves you with one big fat question mark at the quarterback position heading into Sunday's crucial contest. Now, in regards to Pickett's rib injury, we did get multiple updates on that this week, as after apparently getting an x-ray on it after the game and doing some additional testing on Monday, Pickett reportedly walked through the Eagles locker room on Tuesday where he told reporter Jeff McLean that, quote, he felt good. And then yesterday, although the Birds did not practice because it was Christmas, they did issue their first official injury report of the week where they projected the status of the players if they had actually practiced, and they had Pickett listed as limited with the rib issue. So on one hand, it's definitely good that the injury doesn't seem too serious, otherwise he would have been listed as out, but on the other hand, it is clear that this rib injury is something that's bothering the backup QB, so if Pickett does have to start this Sunday, that'll obviously be something to monitor because it could possibly affect the way he plays. That being said, if for whatever reason the injury gets worse and he can't go in this game, which in all likelihood won't happen, or if Pickett gets shaken up even more during the game, then that'll mean that third string quarterback Tanner McKee will have to step in and get the job done in what would be his first real NFL action. And if he did have to play for whatever reason, he says that he'll be ready, and he's also confident that he would be able to get the job done.
Yeah, I think it's just being ready, always being ready to go. I feel like that's kind of my job in the position that I'm in right now. That's kind of the nice thing of preparing, I feel like, in the right way. Just every week, every opportunity, just knowing that it could be my shot and my chance. And so I feel like this week's the same thing as what I've been preparing the last few weeks. Or the whole season, I guess, is just getting ready in case I do have the opportunity to go in.
In general, what's it like being the emergency QB? You're kind of in a unique spot because you dress on game days, but you know it takes 2 injuries to get in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different because the chances of you playing are low, but if I do get the opportunity to go in, then I know that the team expects me, and I have the expectation for myself, the coaches, to go move the ball and to win the game. So that's the expectation that I have. That's the expectation that my teammates have, and so that's what I'm gonna do.
So I definitely like what I heard from McKee there, and in all honesty, I think there's a big part of me that would rather see McKee this Sunday than Pickett, if I'm being honest, just because of the fact that McKee has played really well during the Birds' past 2 preseasons, and he actually outperformed Pickett this year in those games and also in training camp. So even though he's not going to give the start over Pickett if it comes down to that, if it were up to me, again, I honestly would rather see McKee, but what do you guys think about that? But regardless of that, if it is Pickett or for whatever reason McKee out there on Sunday, then I think the Eagles offense really just needs to make some adjustments to how they run their offense in this game. Because we saw last week how much not having Jalen Hurts hurt the Birds in the run game, and specifically in their RPOs where not having the threat of Jalen's legs really impacted them negatively. So again, if it is one of the backups that's playing, I think they have to get away from the RPO game a little bit and instead maybe do some more under center handoffs and utilize the play action pass a bit more. And I think that that'll not only help out the quarterback under center, but also the Birds run game, which again, in the event that Jalen is out, needs to have a successful day. That being said though, it still is no guarantee that Hurts is actually going to miss the contest, as he still does have time to clear the concussion protocol and be out there for Sunday's game. And as I said in my video Monday, this is very much within the realm of possibility because we have seen multiple guys this season return to action just 1 week after suffering a concussion. And there was actually an interesting development back on Monday that a lot of people seem to think hints that Jalen will in fact play in this one, as this unexpected update comes by way of Rob on Twitter, who said that the line for the Eagles-Cowboys game was 7.5 in favor of the Eagles that morning, before it then jumped up to 10.5 later that day. And in a lot of other places, the line is also listed at 9.5. So a lot of people seem to be taking that as a hint that the sportsbooks have information that Jalen is expected to suit up for this one. And I can't say that that doesn't make sense. However, it's definitely not a sure thing, and Hurts was listed as a projected DNP on Wednesday, and he also wasn't out there today. So he's seemingly going to have to make a significant amount of progress in the next couple of days to even have a shot to play, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. And the money line jump could possibly still be a positive sign. But now, moving on to an interesting development from today, it seems like the Birds could actually have an opportunity to add some depth and talent to their roster, and specifically at the edge rusher position. As a former star that was retired but is now trying to come back and play again this season just became available, as Adam Schefter tweeted out, quote, "The Miami Dolphins are waiving former Pro Bowl edge rusher Shaq Barrett from their reserve retired list today. Barrett can play again this season if he clears waivers Friday. If another team claims him, then Barrett would be ineligible to play the rest of the season. Quote, we appreciate the Dolphins giving Shaq this opportunity to continue his career in the NFL, said Barrett's agent Drew Rosenhaus. Hopefully he will pass through waivers and become a free agent so he can play again this season. He is in great shape and would be ready to play immediately." So that's definitely interesting, and again, for the Eagles, as long as he isn't claimed off waivers, it does present an opportunity to go add some experienced depth at the edge rusher position if they would like to. Now that being said, I wouldn't say that this is super likely to happen, as the Eagles already added an edge rusher back a few weeks ago in Charles Harris, and they're set to get one back this week in Bryce Huff, plus Barrett did do an interview back a couple months ago where he had made it seem like he only wants to make a return if it's with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but still, I'll never rule out anything if Howie Roseman is involved, and Barrett could possibly be an interesting depth addition in the event that Howie could somehow pull it off. But what do you guys think? Is there any chance of Howie actually pulling the trigger on this move? And if he did, how much would you like it? You can let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And also, again, while you're at it, if you don't want to miss any other Eagles coverage or content coming throughout the rest of the season, then make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. And also drop a like to show some support if you did enjoy this video, because it really does help me out a ton. Again, let's see if we can get to 600 likes today. And if you want to watch another Eagles video going over their loss to the Commanders, you can check this out right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.